Hello everyone, today we're going to look at straight line graphs. Before we look at any examples, make sure you know that the equation of a straight line can be written as in form y equals to mx plus c. And m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept, which is when x equals to 0. You also need to know that the gradient of a line given 2 points, one is x1, y1, and the other one is x2, y2, in which then you can use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find the gradient. You may also know that the equation of a straight line graph can also be written as ax plus by plus c equals to 0, which you just move the y into the other side and make all a, b, c into an integer. Like for example, if b is a half, then you would multiply both sides by 2, so it would become 1, which is an integer. Let's look at an example which given 2 points to find a gradient. Basically, you just need to substitute this into the formula and you'll get the gradient to be 8. Now let's look at another example in which we have to change the equation of a line into the form ax plus by plus c equals to 0. Given the equation y equals to negative half x plus 5. What we're going to do first is to move the things on the right hand side to the left hand side. But if you want to move the left-hand side to the right-hand side, it's also okay. But in this case, it is easier to do it like this. We know from before that ABC cannot be a fraction, it has to be an integer. So we will multiply both sides by 2. And we get that x plus 2y minus 10 equals to 0. A straight line graph can also be written in the form y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. This actually comes from the formula of the gradient, in which m was made the subject. Examples for this can actually get quite complicated. For example, the straight line L passes through the point A, 4, and 3A, 3. An equation of L is x plus 6y plus c equals to 0. And we have to find the value of a and the value of c. First of all, we would rearrange the equation x plus 6y plus c equals to 0 into the subject, which is y. And we get that y equals to negative 1/6 x minus 1/6 c. I don't know if you have already realized that the gradient is actually negative 1/6. Then you just have to find the corresponding gradient, which is m equals to 4 minus 3 over 8 minus 3a. Then you would find out that they actually equals and you find a to equal to 3. Now you know the value of a, then you just have to substitute into the coordinates of the point and you will get the 2 points, which is 3, 4, and 9, 3. Then you just choose a random point, whichever the 2, and substitute it into the equation x plus 6y plus c. And you will find the value of c to be negative 27. First of all, you need to know that parallel lines have the same gradient. This is because they all have the same slope. That means they will never meet each other. Let's look at an example. A line is parallel to the line 6x plus 3y minus 2 equals to 0, and we know that it passes through the point 0, 3. This is given, and we have to work out the equation of the line. So first of all, we need to rearrange the equation 6x plus 3y minus 2 into the form y equals to mx plus c. We first move 6x to the right-hand side and then minus 2 to the right-hand side, and we get that y equals to negative 2x plus 2 over 3, so the gradient is negative 2. Then you can come up with the equation by substituting in the coordinate of the point. The next thing that we're going to look at are perpendicular lines. You may have already known that if two lines are perpendicular, the product of their gradient is -1. Or similarly, if a line has a gradient of m, a line perpendicular to it has a gradient of -1/m. But I personally prefer the first one as it's easier to remember. Let's look at an example of this in which a line is perpendicular to the line 2y minus x minus 8 equals to 0. And we know that it passes through the point 5 and -7, and we have to find the equation of the line. First of all, we would rearrange 2y minus x minus 8 into y equals to something. So we can find the gradient, and which is a half, and the gradient of the line perpendicular to it is -2, as -2 times a half is -1. Then we will get an equation of y equals to -2x. Then we will substitute the value of x and y, which is 5 and -7, into the equation to find that the equation is actually -2x plus 3. Now we're going to see how to find the length and area. You can find the distance between 2 points A and B by considering a right angle triangle with hypotenuse AB. You can find the distance d between x1, y1, and the point x2, y2 by using the formula d equals to square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus 1y squared. Let's look at an example of this, in which we have to find the distance between the point 2,3 and the point 5,7. To find the distance, we don't necessarily need to draw the graph. However, if you want to find the area, you sort of need to draw the graph in order to imagine it. We just need to substitute the points into the formula. And we get that d equals to square root of 25, so d equals to 5. However, if you're trying to find the area of the triangle, you would label the points and find the base and height. By finding the base, you would subtract the values of x, so 5. 2 subtract from 5 is 3, which is the base, and the height can be found by 3 subtracted from 7, which is 4. So the area can be found by 3 times 4 divided by 2, and we get that the area is actually 6. And that's the end of this chapter.